Hello there friends, the ESL Pro League has finally begun, which means that we will have a lot of CSGO for the next month. Additionally, a significant CS2 update was released last night, and it brought a massive wave of beta invites, indicating that EPL will be the last tournament in CSGO, probably. But for now, I've gathered all the most interesting news from the past few days. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. And of course, we start with a huge update that Valve released on the last day of summer. I was about to start whining that Valve has deceived us again, that there wouldn't be a CS2 release in the summer and all that, but suddenly here comes a 5GB update. Yeah, sure, this is not the CS2 we wanted, but it's at least something. The most important thing is that they introduced the new map, Inferno. I played it and it's significantly different from the old one. Textures are one thing, but even many angles and corners have changed. For example, you can't see the boiler from the balcony and there's no prison. And the apartments have changed significantly. In short, it's like an entirely new map and the sounds are incredible. I walked into the church and it was amazing. I felt like a believer for a few seconds, and at the T-spawn you can even play a little tune on the bells. Tell me in the comments if you also got the access to the beta. For instance, many of my friends got the access, and it seems like many people in the community overall did. I even got access on my second account, where I was just messing around and not playing at all. The minimum requirements are having a rank in matchmaking, the prime status, and some hours played in matchmaking. So if you're only playing Faceit, your chances of getting the beta drop drastically. But of course, the most important update is the new Premiere mode. It's now very similar to Faceit. At the start, there's a ban phase for certain maps, followed by the choice of sides. Overall, this existed in CSGO, but what comes next is the most interesting part. Matches in Premiere mode will now go up to 13 rounds, as data miners previously mentioned. It's quite unusual at first. I played a few games, and you still have in your head like it's 15 rounds, but suddenly it's 7-5, the time to switch sides. Even more importantly, Valve stated that majors will also use this system, so it seems like the entire pro scene is transitioning to this new format. One map won't take an hour anymore, instead it will be around 40 minutes. And also no more 4 wins in the overtimes, now only 2. This is perhaps the most significant and crucial update in CS2. The economy needs to change quickly because winning just 2 pistol rounds can almost guarantee winning the map. And the changes don't stop there. Now everyone will have their ELO within the game. To understand your level, you'll first have to win 10 matches. Once you do that, you'll have something like ELO and a worldwide ranking. There will be also rankings for different regions. So, if you're a hardcore player, you have a chance to break into the top 100 and maybe a team will notice you. In theory, this should open up even more young talents to the world. From what I understood, all of this will be based on seasons. For example, a new season will start in winter and all rankings will be reset and everyone will start anew. But these are all just theories. Let's see what will actually happen. Another interesting addition is that now you'll have a rank for each map. For instance, if you're a Mirage enthusiast, you might be a global there, but on Dust 2 you could be silver too. So if you're not good at a particular map, you'll be matched with the players of the same level there. It's interesting, but it raises questions about adaptability and aiming. Even if someone has been playing Mirage their whole lives and dominating, it might not be too challenging for them to do the same on other maps. It's like an official in-game Smurf, but Valve will probably have something in mind for this. Meanwhile, Monesi has already found the first bug and triggered the developers. They tweeted that you should send all the bugs to their email, and as an example they cited Monesi's illegal boost on Banana. Classic buggacy. Furthermore, in CS2 they changed the bump blast radius on many maps. On Dust 2, Ancient and Anubis we have the same radius as before, but on other maps the radius and damage have been increased by almost 1.5 times. So now you'll have to run to the other side of the map to be sure you won't be killed by explosion. In general, it's an excellent update, and now there's finally a reason to play CS2, as before there wasn't much to do in it. Today I'll gather reactions from players and maybe they'll discover something else new, and I'll also be testing it myself. So in the coming days there will be a new video about the update, but the news doesn't end there. Let's talk about the roster shuffles. No one expected it, no one knew about it, and then suddenly TSM announces their new lineup. We all pretended to be incredibly surprised, but of course it was known a couple of months ago. Valde, Cypher, Inters, Jax, Modo, and X-Stars now represent TSM. It seemed like a hyped up roster, but honestly it's hard to believe in it. Valde seems like the last pick you can get. Jax is a cheerful guy, but not exactly a star. Cypher, like Ime and JL, shown at a single major, and how he will perform going forward, no one knows. Modo, I don't even have an idea who that is, a sniper with a 1.09 rating, and he achieved it in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 scenes. And then there's Inters, a great anchor player, but you can't build the whole game around him. In general, there's more questions than answers, but let's see what they will show in action.
Friends, I have another fantastic news for you. My partner, MyCSGO, gives away free cases. What do you need to do? Well, it's as simple as possible. Just add $2 to your account. Well, the more you top up, the more free cases you get, and they drop 3 at a time. I haven't seen such generosity yet, and if you get skins of no interest, you can immediately trade them in a contract or upgrade to get an amazing skin. You can repeat that every day. The website has a special provably fair system so that you can check any operation, everything is open. They have been in the game since forever, and you can find thousands of reviews on Google. The bonuses don't end there. You can receive a gift every day, and by using my unique promo code in the pinned comment, you will get additional one. Also, if you use live news as a promo code, you will get up to 40% bonus for all your top-ups. It's just too good to be true, isn't it? But here we are. Click on the link in the pinned comment to get it all. Thank you, my dear kind friends, for watching the ad. Let's move on.
The second news regarding roster shuffles is much more interesting. Fear shared information that Thomas will be playing for his team. I still don't understand if this is a joke or not, but there are photos from practice rooms. And the thing is, Thomas is the captain of ITB, so all of this looks even more confusing. Why do they need 2 captains? I don't know. Although later it turned out to be the case, Thomas officially left Into the Breach. They removed Neofrag, then their captain, and what's happening with them is unclear. And according to Hurumi, Fear and Smuya could have joined the Into the Breach roster this summer. Now, I think that would have been much more intriguing. And lastly, regarding roster changes, Taco completed a transfer of his hair. The transfer was successful, the contract has been signed, and now the Brazilian star will be seen with a full head of hair. And he won't have to hide under a cap anymore. But honestly, no one would have judged him if he'd chosen the way of Crims. A few other potential transfers have become known through various interviews. For example, Letang RPK stated on his stream that he would really like to compete in the next major of CS2, so he's awaiting for interesting offers. I don't really know if it was a joke or not. Dupree is also not against it, but there are a few nuances. Here's a quote: "My contract with Vitality is valid until January 1st. Some teams cannot afford to buy me out, or they simply want to sign players for free. I suspect that offers will appear only in January. I could leave the esports scene as a champion, but I feel like I'm not done yet. Honestly, I'm very passionate about working with the team, individual improvements, lifting trophies, and competing for titles. I won't lie, I still find it hard sometimes that I had to leave Vitality, especially on days when I watch tournaments. I want to take part, but I don't have the opportunity yet." God, that's heartbreaking to hear. He's a good guy, but that's how CS goes. On the other hand, there are currently many free agents who can form a top-tier team, and I'm still waiting for the reunion of Glaive, Zepnex and Dupree in one lineup. Moving on to some Cloud9 news. First of all, Hobbit gave a big interview after the scandal with Nafany, and as always, it didn't go without some good deeds. Quote: "I watched Nafany's interview. I want to say that we all start from scratch. Let's do it without grudges." Then Hobbit talked about the major in Kazakhstan and what's going on within the team. The major should definitely be held in Kazakhstan because our community is huge. I promise that we will fill the stadium and it will be very loud. It will be awesome, I'm just sure of it. We have a very strong and large esports school. It's just not very visible because of the internet. We have very bad internet, like 100 ping. What I like about our people is that we are very loyal, true. If a Kazakh joins a club, he cheers for it until the end, sincerely. As soon as we joined Cloud9, we got a psychologist. He speaks English, so you can't fully explain your thoughts to him. Even in Russian, your native language, you can't always articulate your problems. That's why a psychologist is needed to help you. And this is the problem. A specialist appeared a year ago and he's English speaking with a different mentality. We tried to work with him. I worked with him and I liked it. My English allows for some communication, but I still can't fully express my thoughts. Then we had a Russian-speaking psychologist for a short period, but now we don't have him. There's only an English-speaking one with whom it's hard to communicate. So, explain to me this. Buying Perfecto and Electronic for $2 million is not a problem, but hiring a Russian-speaking psychologist for $50 a session, they can't do that. I'm not sure about the prices, maybe they're higher, but in any case, it's very strange and it's not that complicated and expensive. I hope Electronic conveys to the management that they need to work much harder on mental coaching. The second news related to Cloud9 arises from Blast. As you know, this organization doesn't have a partnership agreement, which means they aren't invited to group stages and getting to the finals is almost impossible. There's only one way, playing in Tier 2 tournaments with a Blast Showdown slot for grabs. This means not the Blast Finals, but the tournament before, from which only one team advances. And so Cloud9 will have to play the online qualifiers, which will take place from September 15th to 17th, right before the start of their EPL group. It's a highly inconvenient schedule, but what can you do? Electronic hasn't played online qualifiers for over 5 years, Perfecto for more than 3 years, and it's all just because they were in Na'Vi, who always have the slots, and Cloud9 apparently didn't have enough money for a Blast partnership. I still honestly don't understand why they can't buy a slot from EG. I mean, who is interested in endlessly watching evil geniuses finish last when you could give that slot to Cloud9, for example? Yes, Valve is changing all these partnership leagues, but that will only happen in 2025. So if Cloud9 don't resolve this issue by the next year, we won't see them at Blast, unless they qualify through the online qualifiers. Finally, I have a couple of news regarding recent tournaments. First, the DNAF party recently ended and it was unexpectedly won by Spirit. You know, they made an incredible comeback in the semifinals on the third deciding map from a score of 5-15. Donk was just dealing with everyone with 43 frags that brought the Dragons to the final. There they faced VP and once again it went to overtimes on the deciding map. And can you guess who carried them? Once again it was Donk with his 13-9 frags. It's no wonder that everyone considers him the future star of CS. Additionally, the new lineup of 0-0 Nation managed to win their first tournament. Syrson and Nico's team have won the Pinnacle Cup, beating Furia in the finals, and previously they managed to overcome Astralis and Bad News Eagles. I honestly didn't believe in this 5-man squad, but they immediately won the championship. Syrson instantly became the tournament's best player, but there's still a lot more potential there. Meanwhile, in Romania there was this World Cup for national esports teams. There wasn't anything particularly interesting there, not even a single player from the HLTV's top 30 participated. However, there was one scandal. The International Esports Federation, which is currently hosting the tournament, conducted a vote on allowing Russian players to use their national flag and anthem again. 32 delegates voted in favor while 25 voted against. As a result, the ban on Russian symbols was lifted. This applies not only to CS but also to other disciplines organized by this federation. Just to clarify, this has no connection to ESL or Blast, as they have their own rules and are not affiliated with the International Esports Federation. Naturally, these changes had repercussions. The Ukrainian Esports Federation initially tried to change this decision in court. Their national team is participating in this tournament and they were against these changes. According to them, the delegates were bribed, leading to the vote in favor of allowing the Russian flag to return. However, it seems that it doesn't work out well for them. First, the Ukrainian Dota 2 national team withdrew from the championship, then the CSGO national team and other disciplines followed suit. According to the players, this decision was suggested by the Esports Federation of Ukraine. In reality, this didn't sit well with the sports community. For example, according to the prominent Dota 2 personality Vlad, they should have done the opposite. Not withdraw, but win the championship and make a louder statement about their protest. But what's even more interesting is what happened next. An article on Game Inside, a well-established Ukrainian esports website. Just listen to this. They claimed that the Ukrainian Esports Federation banned NATO's Vincere players S1MPLE and B1T from representing Ukraine in international championships. They are also losing any support from the federation. However, there haven't been any official statements, and Vlad contradicts these claims. In general, it's all very strange, and it's unclear whether anyone has been banned in the end. Well, I have to wait for the official statements, but overall this situation shouldn't prevent S1MPLE and B1T from participating in major CS tournaments. And so you know a little more about this Game Inside, James Banks, the notorious showman, dropped by in the comments for this news post and didn't spare the chief editor of Game Inside. He mentioned that the Game Insider's editor left his home country during difficult times and hasn't done anything to help except for spreading toxic narratives. Banks himself, according to his statements, is currently in Ukraine. Now let's quickly go over what's happening in the EPL. The group stage has begun and 2 playdays have already been completed. The teams are all quite evenly matched, so I decided not to provide full reviews for them, but if you'd like them, please let me know in the comments below. In an unexpected turn of events, NIP easily defeated TROLLS on the first day. The Spaniards took down Furia and Gamer Legion defeated Greyhound 2-0. However, things somewhat normalized on the second day. By the way, Vitality seems to be on fire, completely dominating both Orcs and NIP. Over 4 maps, they conceded only 25 rounds in total. The defending major champions are in top form. The Spaniards defeated Gamer Legion and advanced to the upper bracket finals, which is quite surprising. Meanwhile, Furia and TROLLS find themselves in the lower bracket. So far, both the Brazilians and the Danes are doing well, winning their initial matches and are ready to fight for a direct playoff spot. In general, nothing too surprising happening in Group A. Personally, I'm only really surprised by the Spaniards and Furia's underwhelming performance following a high-profile transfer. I might provide more detailed reviews closer to the Group A finals. For now, stay tuned for the updates in CSGO and CS2. I'll gather all the reactions, bugs, and interesting moments for you. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for high-quality updates about the game. I won't say goodbye for a long time. See you soon.